Heyo, it's me, Terratalionis. Welcome back to another video. So in this video, I'm going to be discussing a kind of interesting topic. How to survive or build like a good stash and base on a SMP server like similar to this one. I'm currently on the dupe server. This server is just basically you can run a command like I-59 do /dupe slash I have to enable chat. Whoops. My bad. Okay. Commands only. /dupe, and it dupes it it basically doubles whatever I have. You can't do it for all items, like can't do it for this item or my netherite gear or anything like that. But in general, it can do pretty much anything. So because of that, I tend to have a lot of resources. And while I have a lot of resources, I kind of need a spot to put them. So it comes down to two kind of ideas. There's two kind of ways to store items, or three actually. You can do one, build a base, and then put stuff in chests and stuff all around and have like a storage area there. I don't recommend this because while it looks nice, bases are a lot easier to find than stashes. So I'd recommend going with one of the other two options, and I'll show you both. I'm going to start by including /homes and teleporting to one of them. Okay. This is one of my regear spots. Basically, what I can do is I can come in here and click this button, and it would completely re-gear me if I died. Plus, I have all these shulker boxes of gear that I can click and use as will. Okay? This is the kind of one you want if you're going to be on a very PvP-oriented server. And also, if you're a big fighter, you're going to want something like this because it allows you to instantly re-gear. You teleport in, you click this button, and you're automatically there. You don't have to stress about re-gearing ever. So I'd recommend having one of these because while it may be tedious to make, such as this machine taking me like probably a couple minutes to make and load, it definitely helps. And then the other one I would probably do is this. Way up here in the sky. Made out of completely of shulker boxes. And part of the reason I do this is because, here, let me just fall down. From the ground, shulker boxes, unless the player's render distance is like 100, like someone I know, you can't see it. See? It doesn't exist. It's not there. But if I go like this, and boom, all the gear I could ever want, all my extra resources, and those are the kind of the two stashes you have. Now I'll explain how to make both of them and what the requirements are for what you want to build for them. I'll start with the one right here. For this, you tend to want to go out as far as you can. I went to world border because that's pretty far out for me. And I did that because most players don't ever go to world border. They don't want to. It's just a waste of time for them, so they avoid it. But if you go out to world border, you're pretty much guaranteed to be as far out as possible, and people are going to avoid it. And then what you want to do is you want to build up really high, and I mean really high. If you look how long it takes me to fall. And you want to use scaffolding, which you'll see I accidentally placed it outside the world border. And basically, what you can do is, well, how should I put this? You can use scaffolding to bridge up really high, and you can place stuff on it. You don't have to use scaffolding, but it's pretty easy to place and remove, so I'd recommend it. And then you kind of want to place it all facing the same direction, all facing upwards, because that way you can open it and it works. And you could have chests up here if you don't want to like do shulker boxes, like you want to store it all. I do shulker boxes because it's just easy to get the individual items, and these are just for the same exact item, which I don't really use very often. Yep. And then the other type, let's go back to my other one. Okay. This one is very important. This one right here requires three things. One, you want to build out really far, like pretty much as far as you can get as well. Then you're going to want to have a bunch of gear on one wall, because having one gear on one wall might seem pointless, but you don't need it for actual armor. You just need it for PvP resources like wind charges, golden apples, enchanted golden apples, totems, and bottles of enchanting. Basically gear that you want to have easy access to, but you don't want to put in here. And then you'll want to have a machine like this, a redstone restocker. It has netherite gear in each of these. It has a lava bucket here and shulker boxes. One of these drops my entire hot bar, so drop me an entire hot bar of gear. Another drops me my entire inventory. So I can click this and it'll automatically re-gear me to exactly what I have now. And then, of course, you can have other gear like other netherite resources to just keep on you at all times. And then you can just have a few workstations to remake the gear. And then, of course, the two shulker box types I use to restock. And then extra resources. That's pretty much it. And let me talk about some other something that's really important for survival and some other techniques. /spawn. First off, let me tell you, unless you have like ways of surviving like I do, because I have like teammates and allies that most people don't. Most people who are gonna avoid fighting me because of that. But if you don't go out into these war zones. Don't do it. There's really no reason. Like, people tell you, oh, you gotta get kills and stuff, but there's no reason to. It just wastes time. And furthermore, avoid buildings like these, because I'm gonna go out here real quick. If the door's open like this, but you can only be opened by admin, don't go in there, because it's almost impossible to get out because you can't break replace blocks. So in general, just try to avoid being out in the war zone at all. Furthermore, don't fall prey to rage bait. Don't let people rage bait you and convince you to get out there. Don't think, oh, they want a fair 1v1. They're not going to give you a fair 1v1. Most people are very cowardly and will run away from you or will summon an entire team to kill you. So avoid that. Secondly, and this is a very important thing I see tons of people doing, not that I have a good example of now, but if you die at all in the war zone, don't get your gear. It's gone. If you died to an enemy, just leave it, because there's no point in going back for it. You're gonna die again and again. And if you're on a server where dying has penalties like this, since it's lifesteal, you're gonna die and you're gonna get banned off the server. That's just in general. Avoid going out and trying to get your gear back. You just give up on it and try to restock another way. Second, I'm gonna circle back to what some of you might think I shouldn't, but I mentioned at the start of the video not to build bases. And by not building bases, I meant don't build overworld underground bases and think, oh, it's safe because it's underground. It's not. What you actually want to build is in another location. I'm going to /RTP and I'll show you in the end. Okay? So we don't die. You want to build it in the end, because by building in the end, not only do you have access to resources, but it's hard to get to people in the end. You can't just traverse and walk across everywhere or go in the nether and pop out wherever you want. You have to actually fly. And of course, don't build your base like really close. Like, see, people have been here. I'm not gonna build a base here because people are gonna come through and they're gonna find this. I'd probably fly out to world border again because it's so far out, people are gonna not want to go there. And since world border is such a faraway place and it's a long line, if you don't go on an axis, like you don't go straight 0 100,000 or 0 200,000 in a direction, most people are never gonna find your base. It just in general, it's not likely. So that's why I would recommend personally building a base out here in the end. You can use as much resources as you want, just avoid the Enderman picking up blocks, and you're pretty much good. And then if you ever want to get back here without, say you can't like teleport here whenever you want, so you ever want to get back here, have an enderpearl stasis chamber and have like an alt account ready to trip it up to bring you back, or a what is it? A friend who can just log on and pull you back. That's what I'd recommend. And that kind of segues into what I want to say next. How to access your bases. Because like as you saw with some of mine, homes, like let's see, this one, I can teleport right here, and it goes straight to the base, right? But you can't really do that on every single server. So I'd recommend one of two things. Okay? Either where is it? Get a fishing rod and use an ender pearl stasis chamber that attach the fishing rod. There's like a whole glitch on that. I'd recommend looking up, but that doesn't work on some servers like Fabric. It only really works, I think, on Paper MC. But let's see. So you use a fishing rod to pull yourself back. That's a good thing to have because it'll save you time. Or just like I said, have an alt account or a friend ready to log on whenever you need to just flip the switch and get you back. I recommend enderpearl stasis chambers, especially if you can control the outcome whenever you want, because it can save your life. If you're out in the middle of nowhere, you're getting attacked, you can just pull a fishing rod and boom, you're back. It's truly a lifesaver. And let's get on to here. Let me go back to spawn and talk about the last thing I want to mention. Slash spawn. Here's what you want to do. Okay. Here's another thing I want to mention. Your inventory. If you see I have a full inventory, you might wonder why. Well, because I can get in a fight at any time. If I'm like walking somewhere and I get attacked, I want to have full PvP gear. And then, well, if you look at my inventory, you might think, what? Why does he have that stuff? That stuff's weird and random. Like this. Like this is a mini ender chest that I can use to store gear. And why does he have so many vials of enchanting? Well, that's because my gear breaks quickly. People can mace. People are gonna like fly up and hit mace you. They're gonna do all sorts of attacks. You're gonna use this thing called a homemade nuclear missile, which I'll try to demonstrate real quick. Basically, you come out here. Let's see, anyone nearby? No. And you can get flown up into the air. And as you saw, that really does damage to the durability. My durability dropped by 10 just doing it to myself and trying to ride the wave. So if someone hits you with one of those, it's a damage. So make sure you understand what kind of gear is on the server and what damage can be done to your gear and stuff, and have counters for it. Have stuff in your inventory that will help you survive. Like I have 2 stacks of golden apples, but only 1 stack of enchantment golden apples because I don't eat those as much. I don't eat those to survive. I eat those for the fire res. But I eat these to survive. Then of course I have tons of XP, so I can automatically XP. Like, and if you think that's a little, I have more. I have tons of totems, so in case I pop to a bunch of mace hits, I can just keep cycling through that. And I don't carry potions because I have permanent potion effects from some buffs from my armor. Like that in general, like figure out what things you don't need in your inventory and substitute stuff you will need a lot of. Like I keep potions of Turtle Master just in case. Not that I need them badly, but you never know. And so that's kind of what you want to do. You want to base your inventory off what will help you counter the effects there or the things that are on this server or on the server you're on. In general, you just want to be prepared for situations that are special to your server. And that's all I gotta say. This is basically just my guide to surviving on Minehut servers like this one. And I'll say this: if you get a chance to get a lot of money like I have without paying real life money, make sure to take advantage of it. If you can like sell a bunch of resources, do that. It's like if you have a way of getting gear quickly, make sure you get it quickly when you have a chance. Because sometimes like netherite gear used to be dupable. Now it's not, and so netherite gear now takes time to grind a bit. Not that it's hard, but it was harder at a time for a time. So always make sure you stock up ahead of time because you never know what the server admins are going to throw at you. That's basically all for the guide today. I just recommend you be prepared for stuff like that. Well, thanks everyone, and goodbye. Oh, before I go, if you enjoyed the video, please do like and subscribe. It actually helps me know what kind of content I should make. Bye.